Go ahead and do that for you right now, folks. The Alfred Sports Talk Show is ready, willing, and able to make sure we do everything to make sure everybody's happy. This song is we're gonna play the Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce song in a minute, but first we're gonna kick the show off on the StreamYard. Let's play that song now.
The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Your host is here for the show tonight to interview our special guest. Show highlight. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, boxing, tennis, golf, and racing. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Tune in for all the news and scores, reporting on the games and so much more. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show.
All right, folks, we are here. We are here live on the Alfred Sports Talk Show. I just want to double check that you guys can hear me out there. In fact, we got a caller right now waiting and willing and able to talk to us. We're going to bring him on in just a moment. But first, we got to make sure we thank our wonderful sponsor. We have some wonderful sponsors here on the Alfred Sports Talk Show. We're truly blessed and honored to have all of you as sponsor. But if we're going to go ahead and make sure that we thank our sponsors, give you guys the crops that you deserve and the credit, and a lot more here on the Alfred Sports Talk Show. So without further ado, let me thank our wonderful sponsor, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Make sure you don't forget to see my great friend, Chef G's. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. You can see Chef G's right here at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Again, that's 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Come on down and see him right here in Tampa. My man, Chef G's, is doing it big. 4 delicious flavors: classic, honey mustard, heat wave, and fusion. They're all delicious. You cannot go wrong. I'm telling you, folks, it is hard to keep this on the shelf because people always want to buy it. And if you want to buy some, you can't come down to Tampa. That's quite all right. Come on down to flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. Get yourself a 4-pack. Get yourself some dry rub and sand, Florida sand, and a lot more right there at that website, flbbqsauce.com. All of the great music that you're hearing, including the intro song, it's all done by our songwriter right there, Sam Scola Songs. I want to thank Sam Scola Songs and Mary. All of the songs are available. Check this out on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram too, and Facebook. Anytime you see my show on the stories, you will hear the song Alfred Sports Talk Show, all because of thanks to Sam Scola Songs. So it's available on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. That is right. And if you want to reach Sam, you can reach him at singalongwithsam@gmail.com. Again, all of the music is available in all of those formats. You also can go ahead and reach out to Sam. Every song that you hear tonight is by Sam Scola Songs. So without further ado, let's play the Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song by none other than Sam Scola's song. So let me play that song for you right now. Let's go.
Comes in all variety, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Florida gold honey mustard on burgers and ribs. Tasty fusion on pork and sausage. Classic taste for chicken steak taste. Me as a man, it's a Japanese Florida barbecue sauce. I love fish and vegetables. Japanese Florida barbecue sauce. Japanese Florida barbecue sauce. Japanese Florida barbecue sauce.
So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Again, don't forget to come on down at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. And if you can't, it's flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. Thank you again, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, for being one of our wonderful sponsors here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. You are incredible, Chef G's. Thank you. Appreciate you. Get yourself that sauce. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we bring on our next caller here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. I just want to make sure that you guys could hear my man right now. We're going to bring him on, none other than the legend himself. So let me just make sure that you guys could hear him on the StreamYard. Let's go. Hey, how you doing? Oh, you're welcome. All right, anytime, my friend. How you been? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised at all. I have a feeling that India is going to win this game tonight against the Knicks.
All right, so let's get a score update. In fact, let's do that
You
for
know,
our wonderful, wonderful sports fans. Let me go ahead and give them the sports update. In fact, let's do that right now. It is a wonderful time. It is a wonderful time to be a New York fan. You are right about that. I saw the video of the fans watching the game. They were going absolutely crazy. They were going nuts. And let me just see here. Yep. So it's a final now, right? Yep. Yep. You got that. That's right. And then let me see here. It's and then the Knicks are still doing their thing. So yes, let me give you that score in that game. It is Knicks are up 3-2 in the series. It is the second quarter. At this point, they're losing 61-48. But hey, there's a lot of basketball still left. It's getting close to halftime. We still have plenty of time left. So it's not over yet. The great thing is, if the Knicks are able to win, they could close out this series. What do you think they're going to do? You think they close it out tonight? Let me go ahead and give them the sports update. In fact, let's do that right now. Oh, wow. It is a wonderful predicting time. That win at home, folks. You were right about that. He's predicting a win at home. So, yeah, it's going to be great to see. Watching the game, they were going absolutely crazy. They were going nuts. And let me see here. So it's the final now, right?
Well, we are. The Rangers are now facing the winner of the Bruins.
Yep, got that. That's right. And then let me see here. It's and then the Knicks are
Oh
still
yeah,
doing their thing.
explain, please.
So yes, let me give you that score of that game. It is Knicks are up 3-2 in the series. It is the second quarter. At this point, they're losing 61-48. But hey, there's a lot of basketball still left. It's getting close to halftime.
That's
Still have plenty of time left. So it's not over yet. The great thing is the Knicks are able to win. They can close out this series. What do you think they're gonna do? You think they close it out tonight?
No, and I don't expect them to. I expect them to do it. They're going to do it at home.
In fact, let's do that right now.
Oh wow.
It is a win at home. He's predicting a win at home. So yeah, it's gonna be great to see.
Now, speaking of this series that I was about to mention, the series is going pretty much the way I thought it was going in the first place. You know, they're looking at the home courts and everything. So I wasn't surprised by any of the
Game sevens are always huge and always big, and so you think if it goes down to game seven, it's anybody's game. You still think the Knicks are gonna pull it out though? You heard it here, folks. He said the Knicks will prevail, not if or when.
Oh yeah, explain.
Now, as I said, I was saying
Hey, as they say it in Fast and the Furious, if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. You can win by a point. A win is a win is a win. I couldn't agree more with that quote. It doesn't matter if you win by inch or a mile, folks. Winning is winning. You understand? If you win it by a stroke in the Masters or you win by 21, I mean, yes, of course, you would love to win by that margin of victory to, so you can relax a little bit at the end. But either way, a win is a win is a win.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, what's Vince quote on that? How did I forget, right? Yeah, that's right. Winning is winning. I mean, you brought it up, so tell them.
So he's missing on that part. Um, the situation escalated quickly, and Shepard was loaded into the car. The police told him there's nothing you can do. All you can Okay, so then about 8:30 or 8:40 hours, he was second degree assault of a police officer and third degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, disregarding traffic signals, and just being a police smart. Then ESPN reported that he was released from custody and right back for 10:08 a.m. tee off. No, wait, okay, there's more. Then about 8:30 or 8:40. So to go on with even further, how much the officer involved in second degree assault of a police officer and third degree hospitalized throwing a break into his knee and left wrist to illegal movement. Devil was arrested following the incident and reported that officer.
Yeah, it is. It's really unfortunate. You know, I hate to say it, but Scotty Scheffler, man, he's a guy who doesn't like the spotlight, and I respect that. But sometimes in life, when you put things out and you say things, sometimes they have a way of coming back to haunt you. So he said kind of a few times. Say again. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, you know. Exactly. Like, okay, I get it. You're not a guy that is outgoing, so to speak. All this attention is maybe overwhelming for you and your personality. I get it. But that's a blessing. You understand? Like, you play golf so great that you don't even need to advertise and people want to watch you play. That shows you know how to play. You should embrace that. Like that's a blessing. And you know, with Scotty, it's like a nuisance. Well, I always felt like, you know, better stop saying that because that might end up haunting you in a bad way. And lo and behold, now he's getting negative attention that he didn't, you know, want. You know, it seemed like this was a situation that went south bad. And I would say this much. Sometimes ego gets involved in this. You don't know who I am. Like, let me go. I'm running late, you know, to my tournament. Sometimes ego gets involved. Sometimes, you know, it just happens. And unfortunately, it sounds like that's what happened here. Cooler heads did not prevail. And Scotty, who is not a law enforcement, is going to be arrested. It, it's unfortunate, but this is crazy that it happened during a tournament. You know, it wasn't like, you know, he had some days off and then he got and ran into trouble. This was actually during a tournament. You know, as much trouble as Tiger's gotten into, he actually never got into trouble during the middle of a tournament. You understand? He stayed out of trouble at least then. You know, usually the trouble he had was during breaks, during time where there's no tournament. We can't forget about Thanksgiving weekend where everything got flipped around that weekend. But yes, at least he's never ran into trouble during the tournament. So I pray for Scotty Scheffler and but yeah, I see the story here and yeah, it's bad for him. It's bad for him. Just a bad look. Now he's gonna get attention that he, you know, this is what I'm talking about. Now you're gonna get a bunch of attention because now a reporter's gonna ask you questions about this incident. Right. It's the wrong kind of attention. I tell my daughter all the time, you know, she loves to be a, you know, social butterfly. She loves to mingle. She loves attention. And sometimes she loves to be the center of attention. I'm like, listen, getting attention is great, but make sure you're getting attention for the right reasons. You understand? Make sure it's because you're doing something positive, because you're doing something great. Make sure it's for positive things, not because you're doing something silly all the time. You know, make sure it's for a positive reason. And speaking of tension, on a positive note, I know you got something cooking for tomorrow. What positive things you got to bring with us for your great show on Saturday? Well, there you go. A Florida team made it, the Panthers. And for those who don't know, there are such things as Panthers here in Florida, believe it or not. Yes, there is such a thing as Panthers here in Florida. I've never counted one, but they are here. You know, if you go to the zoo, you'll see them. Yeah, I mean,
We'll have that. MLB baseball, UFC. Also going to take care of some NBA now that he's winning. So, debut and her other games. He's kind of struggling right now. Also going to take care of some. He's got made a lot of stuff. And last night was very. And the other thing was Taylor, struggling. We're going to come next to, despite this mishap, we'll cover it. Also, your thoughts and comments this week in sports history, the ridiculous story of the week, sports trivia, and the feel-good story of the week.
yes, we're in the same time zone, Eastern Standard Time Zone. Make sure you guys.
So our number is 512-543-4662.
No, go ahead, Lou.
Once again, 512-543-4662. And the other is on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and show.com. And type in exactly last so there's 4 p.m.
That's right. That's the legend right there, Lou. The Enhanced Sports Show. Make sure you type that in on YouTube, the Enhanced Sports Show. And you can also call them between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone tomorrow, Saturday, 512 543 4662. Again, that's 512 543 4662. Make sure you check in with Lou between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, the Enhanced Sports Show. Always wonderful to have Lou. Always appreciative to have Lou. You're the man. That's right. That's the legend right there. You're welcome. Have a blessed night. And thank you again, Lou. Appreciate you. I'll make sure I call in tomorrow, too. You're welcome. Anytime, my friend. So you guys got to call in, too. 512 543 4662. Again, that's 512 543 4662. Make sure you check out Lou. And we're going to go ahead and thank another great sponsor. Of course, Got to do that. And then we'll get into the show. A lot to discuss, a lot to unpack. But first, we got to thank one of our wonderful, wonderful sponsors there. None other than CTC ME Mortgage. That's right, CTC ME Mortgage. Hey, the houses, if you need a house, you don't have a lot of money to put down, you live in Texas, you live in Florida, guess what? Kurt McCrae has you covered. That's right, Kurt McCrae has you covered. Kurt McCrae, 346 527 7564. 346 527 7564. Whether you need to go ahead and get a new home, you don't have a lot of money, Kurt McCrae can help you. If you need a refinance, Kurt McCrae can help you. And that's the beautiful thing about CTC ME Mortgage. He has a team that can help you. Kurt McCrae can do it himself, licensed mortgage broker here in Florida and Texas. And that's how it goes. You need to start building equity. CTC ME Mortgage has you covered. Want to refinance your home? CTC ME Mortgage has you covered. Want a rental? CTC ME Mortgage has you covered. That is right. Doing big things. Thank you, CTC ME Mortgage, for being our show sponsor. Again, that phone number to call Kurt McCrae, 346 527 7564. 346 527 7564. Make sure you let them know that you heard about CTC ME Mortgage from the Alford Sports Talk Show. And in fact, let's go ahead and play another wonderful damn Scholar songs, none other than the CTC ME Mortgage song. I'm going to go ahead and play that song for you right now. And we're going to continue with our wonderful show here on the Alford Sports Talk Show. Let's go.
CTCME Mortgage Company, they stand by their loyalty. CTCME Mortgage Company, you can trust their honesty. They the call today. There's no extra fees to pay. You can take out the loan on the new home. CTCME Mortgage Company, they stand by their loyalty. CTCME Mortgage Company, you can trust their honesty. Get a loan interest rate. There's no need to wait. Finance a payment plan. I'm afraid your man. CTCME Mortgage Company. CTCME Mortgage Company. CTCME Mortgage Company.
There you go, CTC ME Mortgage Company, CTCMEmortgage.com. And definitely don't forget to call Kurt McCrae or text him at 346 527 7564. Again, it's 346 527 7564. So definitely want to thank Kurt McCrae. Appreciate you. And yes, wonderful, wonderful sponsor. Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead now and talk some UFL news there. Definitely. So a lot that, I mean, I got to say, first and foremost, this week I really got a chance to appreciate the UFL for what it is. I mean, it's an outstanding opportunity for players, fans, coaches to go ahead and showcase your talents to millions and millions of people worldwide. The As far as attendance, it's no secret that the Battlehawks have been leading the UFL with attendance. You've had some great appearances and great support by DC as far as physical, but the ratings have been excellent. And that's the thing. So you're getting a lot of exposure, people watching the games, very competitive. I got to give props to the Arlington Renegades for getting that monkey off their back. They are the defending champions. It's been a rough start, but they went ahead and got their first win. So that deserves a round of applause. They got that monkey off the back. So let me go ahead and give them their props for that. Let me go ahead and give them a round of applause. Yeah, I know it's been a tough go for them because of the fact that they're the champs. Unfortunately, when you are the champs, one of the things about that is you do not hide underneath anybody's radar. And not to say that people, I would say, kind of forget about you, but when you're the champs, people never forget about you. They know you're the champ. They know you're the one that they are kind of like measuring. There's a measuring stick. Hey, if I could beat this team, I have a good chance of winning it. And even with that, they've just been a play or two down the stretch here or there. And that has really kind of hurt them by them not making that game winning play. This game here that they played against the Showboats, it was not the case. 47 points is a franchise record, a remarkable performance by, Luis Perez, the quarterback. 27 out of 32, 193 passer rating. That is phenomenal. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. And I did get a chance to talk to Luis Perez this week. It's a real blessing when I get a chance to talk to him because, he gives you great insight. And I even put up not only our interview, but I even said, hey, Tom Brady, you should meet Luis Perez. If Tom Brady does not meet my guy, Luis Perez, guess who I feel dropped the ball on that? None other than the GOAT, Tom Brady. Because to me, Tom Brady should and want to meet a guy like Luis Perez. Luis Perez wears number 12, for those who don't know, because he looks up to Tom Brady. Their game is very similar in a lot of attributes in the fact that they're not mobile quarterbacks. They look for their reads and they get the ball to the playmakers. They're not, Patrick Mahomes. They're not a Lamar Jackson that can beat you by your feet. They're shifty enough, especially Luis Perez, where he can kind of evade the rush, but he's not going to beat you out in a 40-yard dash. It's not going to happen. Not to put him down, but that's who he is. And the guy has been nothing but balling out. He leads the league in passing. Not only that, he won the championship last year, the XFL championship. I was literally standing 4 or 5 feet away when Luis Perez got the MVP and took a photo with The Rock and Danny Garcia. That's phenomenal. Got crowned the MVP, won the championship. Then you come back this year, leading the league in passing. That is awesome. I want to go ahead and thank Luke Adams, for all he does for the UFL and the Renegades. And yeah, so it's really awesome that Luke is watching. Appreciate him and appreciate all he does for the Arlington Renegades. That's phenomenal. And it's fantastic that Luis Perez does what he does. And I really do think that Tom Brady should meet Luis Perez. He really should. I mean, the guy, why not? Not only that, Luis Perez won a championship, Harlan Hills Award, which is the MVP in college, and a national championship. So history repeated itself. And I'm telling you, it's Tom Brady's loss if you don't meet Luis Perez because the guy's credible. His resume is fantastic. Luis Perez did say, when I asked him the question directly, not this week, but last week, he was non-committal about coming back to the UFL. And lo and behold, I did hear another interview where he didn't tell me this, but he did say that he has some hopes to play in the NFL. It would be great for Tom Brady to kind of give Luis Perez some knowledge on how it is on the NFL, more knowledge, that is, I should say, because Luis Perez does have some NFL experience. But yay, iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. I think it'll be fantastic if they two meet. I really do. So that's the reason why I plugged Tom Brady's ear a little bit, because I do think if anybody deserves to meet the GOAT, Luis Perez should. And, even more so than me, Luis Perez definitely deserves to meet Tom Brady. And I hope that comes through. Luis Perez he's balling out. I know the record doesn't show what the Arlington Renegades are about, but they have great players, man. They have Luis Perez, Javante. They have, Javante Payton. They have Davion Smith. I mean, they have some great, great talent. And the list goes on and on and on. I got a chance to interview Will Clark. Shout out to Will Clark, too. Defensive player. When I asked him the question about playing in the NFL or continue his career, is very different response that I got from Luis Perez. He said there's no shame in his game. He wants to go ahead and play. If anything, he wants to play right here in my backyard, right here in Tampa, Florida. So with the Bucks. So that would be fantastic. I think if the Bucks are listening, you should go ahead and give Will Clark a chance. Hey, give him an opportunity. And that's the great thing about this league, is that you never know who's watching. You never know. You got to keep putting out the best tape you can. Keep giving 110% effort, because it could be game 8, 9, or 10. It could be game 1 or 2. You just never know when somebody who you want to watch is watching. And just keep balling out. I will say this to the Arlington Renegades fans: come out and support. I would even say that to the Showboats to come out and support, because it's rumor has it, and even, he talked about that too. The Moose Johnson talked about that the Showboats, the attendance has been kind of weak, and that is not good for the Showboats, because you never know what's going to happen next year. So you want to keep supporting. You want to keep showing up to the games. You want to keep going out and buying the merchandise. You want to keep watching the games, because I used to cover the Orlando Guardians. You notice that the Orlando Guardians are not back for the 2024 UFL season. There's no guarantees. You got to keep coming out and supporting your team. Same thing with the Arlington Renegades. I know that they are no longer in the playoff hunt. Unfortunately, it was kind of a whirlwind kind of a weekend. They won on Saturday, got that big win. But on Sunday, I watched that game too. The Brahmas did win, which mathematically eliminated the Arlington Renegades at that point. So Saturday, they had the big win, feeling great. Sunday in the afternoon, unfortunately, they got confirmation the season was over, because they're playing the Brahmas this weekend. And that game would have been more significant had the Brahmas not win, but they pulled out the last minute win, and they did go ahead and win. I will give the Houston Roughnecks credit. They did everything they could to try to beat the Brahmas. I honestly thought the Brahmas was going to beat them pretty convincingly. That wasn't the case. The Houston Roughnecks did everything they could to win the game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But I can almost assure you that I know one player is probably going to be picked up, and that's going to be Jake Bates for the Michigan Panthers. I'd be more surprised if he's not signed by an NFL team than if he is. So give my guy Luis Perez, go ahead, and Tom Brady show up to a game, show up. The season's not over. And also Will Clark, the Bucks, go ahead and give him an opportunity to look him up, and he wants to play. So I love what the Arlington Renegades are doing with the community events. I know that I got a lot of criticism for putting up the AJ McCarron meet and greet, and AJ McCarron, his popularity is mostly in St. Louis. Unfortunately, to save costs, the football players are there in Arlington. The hubs is in Arlington. For those who don't know, if you want to meet some of the players during the week, yes, it's going to probably be somewhere in around Texas, around the Arlington, Dallas area, more than likely, or Lake Worth. But yes, that's where the guys are at. And hey, if you miss AJ McCarron because you're not in Texas, don't worry. There'll be other opportunities. Hopefully, AJ McCarron is questionable to play this weekend because of that ankle injury. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. But yes, he is questionable to play. That's why they did sign another quarterback. So we will see. That's going to be very interesting how things play out for the Battlehawks because I still think the Battlehawks are going to be the team that will squeak out and make it. Now, if they don't win another game and DC Defenders wins all their games, yes, the DC Defenders will have a chance to make it, but I still think the Battlehawks will get one more win, and it'll be between the Brahmas and the Battlehawks. That's what I think is going to happen. We will see. It's not over yet, but one division is over. That's USFL. For those who don't know, it's going to be the Michigan Panthers, and it's going to be the Birmingham Stallions. So I will tell you this much, even with the Birmingham Stallions doing big things, it's not over yet. The Arlington Renegades beat the DC Defenders. I'm sorry, they beat them in the championship game, but also the Orlando Guardians won their first and only game against an undefeated DC Defender team that time late in the season. So it's not over yet for any team. That's the great thing about the UFL. Surprises do happen. So you got to keep tuned in, keep plugged in. I will keep sharing whatever I get throughout the week. And if I get any signings, I'll let you guys know on that as well. So I just stay tuned in, stay plugged in. I really appreciate the UFL, and it's been awesome to deal with them. It really has been. Make sure you guys tune in and support your team as much as you can because things are not guaranteed. One great thing that's going to happen next year, for those who don't know, they are discussing having Friday night airtime. So some of the games won't be, let's say, Saturday at noon. They'll be a Friday night. That should be really, really cool. That should be really awesome. The fact that they're going to have Friday night games. Hey, if they have a Friday night game, I might do this live in the booth. We'll see, and it should be cool. But I personally love the idea of the Friday night games. I think it's a cool thing. I actually like that better than a Saturday noon game. I just think that it's kind of too early. People usually like to sleep in on Saturdays, especially if you got to show up to the game. It's kind of early. I'm more of like the 1 or 2 o'clock start, probably 2 o'clock on a Saturday versus 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. But again, it's a network's decision, but I do like the Friday night games. So that's going to be coming up. They're saying in the next year. That's why you got to stay plugged in. And there's 3 games still left. There's 3 games still left in the season. I'm praying that Tom Brady shows up to one of those games before the year's out. But I'll keep you guys up to date on that. And definitely, I wanted to give you guys some switching gears a little bit, some NFL news. Somebody had asked me my opinion about the Harrison Butler commencement speech. And I'm not going to get political and all of that stuff, but I will give you my opinion on that. I would just say for Harrison Butler, for those who don't know, he made a commencement speech. I listened to it. I don't think it was as bad as what people made it out to be, but I do think these are my thoughts about that. To make a commencement speech, which is basically a speech that you're making for a graduating class in college, for you to get that opportunity, for them to invite you to do that, that is a remarkable achievement. Not everybody, motivational speakers, they make speeches, but very few speakers actually get invited to do a commencement speech. You have to be invited by a university and they have you speak at the podium. Usually when you're making a commencement speech, they'll limit you to about 20 minutes or so. But if you go over, you go over as long as the content is great. I personally did not like the speech at all. I'm just going to be real with you. I just think that if you're using your platform in a situation, use it to the best of your ability. I just don't see where. I mean, Harrison Butker has all of the right and the freedom in here in America to say whatever he wants to say. Let me just say that he has the freedom of speech. He's allowed to say how he feels. I just think that if you're going to get that opportunity, say something uplifting, say something motivational, say something positive. Don't talk about, politics so much, or your thoughts on whether you should be a homemaker or not. I just think that's not inspiring. That's my biggest issue with it, more than what he actually said. And I just think that you got to know the audience. These are people who are about to start life and are gung ho. They're motivated. They're going to go on to big things. They're going to maybe start families, look to be the CEO of a company, maybe start their own business. A lot of big things. I think a more positive type of speech to tell someone, you work real hard to be a homemaker. I could see that coming over kind of like, okay, I worked that hard. I didn't have to go to college to be a homemaker. Nowadays, women are independent. They love to do their own things. You have women being CEOs, running their own business. They're doing big, big things. It's not the 50s. It's not the 60s. I understand that it worked out great for Harrison Butker, but hey, this is 2024. Not everybody has a husband that plays in the NFL. That's just the reality situation. To make it to the NFL, you have a 1.4% chance. I did the research. 1.4% chance of making it to the NFL. It is extremely difficult. And I've interviewed quite a few people that have played in the NFL, some big time, some small time. It is extremely competitive. It's not easy to make it. I think that Harrison Butker would have been more better suited to talk about his journey, talk about winning the rings, talk about how difficult it is to make, talk about teamwork. A lot of different topics he could have talked about that I felt would have been better suited for the entire graduating class. Having said that, if you want to see a fantastic, a fantastic commencement speech, I could just think none other than the late great Chad Boswick. Chad Boswick. I'm sorry, Chad Boswick. For those who don't know, rest in peace to Chad Boswick. He is the actor for Black Panther, and he's also the actor for Jackie Robinson. He made a commencement speech for Howard University, and it was nothing less than spectacular, encouraging, motivational, fantastic. If you want to watch a commencement speech, that's a commencement speech. Now, as far as the backlash when it comes to what he said, my friend and a couple people have chimed in and said, hey, he shouldn't be penalized by the NFL. You always got to remember, when you're dealing with the NFL is a big time, multi-billion dollar business that's ran like corporate America. So if you don't have your own business when you're playing for the NFL, meaning Harrison Butker doesn't represent just Harrison Butker. He represents the league, whether he's making a commencement speech, he's speaking on Twitter, he's speaking on Instagram. He's representing not just himself, he's representing the NFL. So if the NFL hears this speech or they see it, they don't like it, could they penalize him? Yes. Same thing would happen with Colin Kaepernick. We've seen this before. It's corporate America. This is what happens. If you do something foolish, let's say you're CEO or you're a vice president, you're hanging out late at night and you're drinking, you're doing partying, you're doing something that doesn't represent the company well, and the company finds out about it, can you be fired or penalized? Yes, you can. Same thing with Harrison Butker. You're making a commencement speech and you're going all political, and that's why they tell you don't talk about politics. Those things could upset people. And for those who don't know, I know a lot of sports people watch my show. Anytime, Tom, anytime, Tony Dungy said it perfectly. Anytime you say something political, you're going to have half the people love what you're saying, and half the people hate it. That's just the nature of the beast. So the way you avoid that, you just don't talk about something political. But he went there. He has a freedom of speech of doing it. But yes, if a majority don't like what you said, gets back to the NFL, unfortunately, yes, you can be penalized for that, because the NFL is going to look at it like, hey, you're hurting my bottom line. And number one. And number two, they want to deter other athletes who get that opportunity of doing the same thing. So sometimes they just make an example out of you. Corporate America does it all the time. Hey, we found out you did this, so we're going to change this rule. It happens every single day in corporate America. So yes, you can be penalized. That's why I would have used my platform if I was him to talk about something positive, motivational, encouraging. That's just me. But should he be penalized? Unfortunately, the way the situation is, yeah, he might get something. Is it cool? But you don't. When people say you have freedom of speech, that's a double-edged sword. You do have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to say, but a lot of time when you say whatever you want to say, and a lot of people don't like it, unfortunately, there are repercussions to that. That's just the way it is. Like if you look at anything in life, there's always going to be pros and cons. Pros and cons. You got to outweigh the pros and outweigh the cons. And you got to say, okay, which way am I going to get through this? And more pros happen than cons. Say something positive. Talk about your experience. Talk about the rough times in the NFL. Talk about the times you were about to get kicked out and you didn't quit. People love that. I just think, my opinion, if Harrison Butler is listening to this, use that platform, that big of a stage, to talk motivational, positive, encouraging. Check Chad, the late great, rest in peace, Chad Boswick. Chad Boswick. I apologize. Rest in peace to him. Watch that commencement speech to Howard University. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Fantastic speech. It really is. Now, one thing was politically said. He was just talking about his experience, motivational, beautiful. If you're going to make a commencement speech, you get that opportunity, because there's people in the world who will never make a commencement speech. I'll tell you that right now. Just stay the politics out of it. Know your audience. You got young, really enthusiastic people. Go out there and talk about something positive. So that's my opinion about Harrison Butler. I didn't like the speech at all. Not even so much the content was that terrible. It just, okay, homemaker after you graduate. I don't know. I'd have thought about something else. But we're going to move on here. Let me go ahead and give you guys a score on a few things. And let me do that for you right now. In fact, the NBA score. And I also will give you guys my thoughts on Caitlin Clark and her. Wow, it seemed like the Knicks were coming up close, but now they're starting to fall behind a little bit. It's the third quarter, 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go. The Indiana Pacers are up 86-68. And again, the Knicks lead the series 3-2. So I will keep you guys up to date on that too. So let's talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark. Yes, the first couple of games were a bit rough for her. This is now the regular season. And the biggest thing that I noticed with her is, man, as great as she is, she has a lot of fans, but she also has a lot of haters. You could just tell that the defense is really doing everything they can to get the ball out of her hand, make it tough for her to make every single shot. They're making an exorbitant type of effort to do that. And it's been a rough go with her. But, you figured that there had to be a transition period for her. I do think she's a great player. She'll figure it out. She'll see how she can find space and spots where her opportunities are. And some of those shots that she took, she was getting very good looks. It just, they didn't drop. So I wouldn't jump the gun. Give her some time. She's young. Great players sometimes have to transition and figure things out. But once she figures it out, she's going to be doing big things. She's not going to be one of these people who just gets there to the league and then can't succumb to the spotlight. I think she's got that it factor. I believe in her. Sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, but eventually her greatness is going to show out in the WNBA. I know a lot of people saying, hey, it's a different game. Yeah, it may have been a different game for everybody else other than Caitlin Clark. Yes, there's going to be a transition period, but I know she's going to get her ball bearings and she's going to start knocking down those shots. I just realized how bad the defense went. And it's unfortunate with Caitlin Clark how people always try to turn things into race. Okay, she's a very talented technically sound basketball player. Okay. It's not just because of race that she got all of these contracts. She's also technically sound and she is marketable. Okay. She is different, you know, and, for the players that are jealous of her, well, you don't have the technique she does. She got skills. So just leave her alone. Let her do her thing. She's going to be fine. And I did want to give you guys a little bit of baseball news too. I did want to do that. And let me give you the score update. By the way, it's 52 seconds left in the third quarter. Third quarter, the Pacers are up 88-72. The game is still not over. Knicks still lead the series 3-2. And let me give you some baseball news a bit. And this is my opinion about Barry Bonds and his baseball career. The question was brought up is do I think Barry Bonds versus Babe Ruth, who was better? Barry Bonds versus Babe Ruth, who was better? Who was better? Because they both are retired now. They're both not playing. Rest in peace to Babe Ruth. But I would say Barry Bonds is better. I mean, with all due respect, Babe Ruth came up and he was a transcendent player at the era that he played for the Yankees. He really was. People were not hitting home runs like him. They were not getting all the walks that he did. They didn't have the slugging percentage that Babe Ruth had. He was a phenom in his era, not taken away from anything he did. Outstanding showstopper, really brought fans to the stand, really made it baseball a sport. Having said that, though, I do feel as if Barry Bonds in his prime and was better. Barry Bonds in a night of baseball would typically get 2, tops 3 pitches to hit, real good pitches to hit. That's it. And if he didn't hit it, he was tough noogies. Because between all the walks that he got, intentional walks, and then let's not even talk about just the intentional walks. That's when somebody's making obvious they're walking you. But there was a lot of, to me, at plate, intentional walks that Barry was getting. Meaning he was standing in batter's box, but the pitcher didn't have the catcher make it obvious that they're doing, throwing it 3-4 feet outside. But Barry be in the batter's box, and you wouldn't throw it anywhere near the plate. So he'd be taking ball 1, taking ball 2, taking ball 3. He's standing in the batter's box, but you're not throwing him anything that's really hittable. If he swung and hit any of those pitches, it'd be a ground out, pop up, hit back to the pitcher. Those balls wouldn't be going anywhere. He'd be lunging too much. But Barry Bonds actually took those pitches. And if you did throw one down the plate or you did throw one in the hitting area, it was in McCovey Cove, man. It was splashdown. That's how great he is. Not only was he great as far as his playing, but he was great in his mindset, the way he approached the game, his patience. I mean, it takes a lot for you to be such a great player. You want to swing that bat, and you're not getting the opportunity, but 2, max 3 times a game. That's it. Because guys are maybe intentionally walking you or really intentionally walking you, and you're standing in batter's box. So the slugging percentage, the walks, Barry Bonds, I'm sorry, obviously they played in 2 different generations, but I don't know, man. If Barry was playing during that time, man, he might have had 1,000 home runs because, eventually it would have got old for guys to just the booing. Hey, you just keep walking this guy. Eventually you'd have to throw him some better pitches to hit, meaning you couldn't just intentionally just throw away from him while he was in the batter's box. You'd have to make it somewhat close. And I think if you did that more often with Barry, he was gonna hit a home run. Barry Bonds is phenomenal, man. And not only that, to me, the stat that really gets Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, among all the remarkable stats that he has, the MVPs, the Gold Gloves, the All-Star appearances, all of that, the home runs, the single season, believe it or not, the record to me that's really gets him in and is really remarkable is Barry Lamar Bonds is the only player to hit 500 home runs and have 500 steals. People don't talk about that stat that much, but to me, that is a stat that gets him in Cooperstown. That is a stat that gets him the stamp 500 home runs, 500 steals. The only player that's ever done it. And yes, I do think there's exceptions to every rule when it comes to the Hall of Fame. And yes, I do think Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think Gary Sheffield deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I think Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I really do. I think he served his penalty. I think, it is what it is. You kept him out for many years. To me, that's a penalty in itself. And I just think, if you want the Hall of Fame to be revered by people and admired by people, I just feel like having all these guys, Roger Clemens is another Hall of Famer, having all these guys not be there because of alleged things, I just I don't buy that. I think there's exceptions to every rule, and I just think that Pete Rose and all of them should be in there. And there's another player here. I just want to make sure I say their name, and let me make sure I just don't forget. Yeah, Pete Rose deserves to be in there for sure. And his name slips my mind. Let me just take a look here. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'll tell you. Okay. Okay, let me just see here. Yeah, I mean, I'll get that a bit later, but I would just want to say that I definitely do think he deserves to be in here. In fact, let's take a caller here. Let me just make sure I pull this up here so you guys can hear it too. And I'll take that caller right away. You guys are awesome. Don't forget 516-418-5572 to join in the fun and get heard here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. And in fact, I'm going to make sure that you guys can hear the caller too. Let me just do that for you right now. Give me 1 second and we'll bring that caller right on. Appreciate you guys here all the time on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. You guys are fantastic. Again, the phone number is 516-418-5572. And let's bring on that wonderful caller right now. Hey, how you doing? You guys are fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Always a pleasure. So glad to hear from you. How's life treating you? Hey, how you doing? Life has been wonderful. I'm really blessed. Thankfully, I'm healthy. That's sometimes we look at the big things, but some of the small things are just as important and even more important. I'm healthy and I'm doing the show. I'm excited to hear from you tomorrow too. And the great thing is, a lot of great things are happening in New York. You got the Rangers, you got the Knicks. How does it feel to be a New York fan? Yeah, so and the nice thing is that the Rangers made it. The Knicks are still hanging in there. So it's gonna be fantastic. Yes, that's right. In fact, let me give the score update to our great fans. It's the fourth quarter, 10 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. Still a lot of time. The Pacers are up 92-77, but I feel like the Knicks are closing the gap, and this game is not over yet. You still got plenty of time. The Knicks could close it out tonight. And if they, if they don't, they still are up 3-2. If the Knicks don't win for whatever reason, there will be a game 7. Do you think the Knicks are going to win this series? Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're gonna do it. I'm really praying they do it. I think the Knicks fans have been starving for so long. They deserve it. I think they should. I think they should. Oh yeah, I know, right? We will see. Yeah, so I mean, definitely. I mean, it should be interesting to see. Oh yeah, do you think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame? Okay. All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. You think that way. I agree. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame too. I think there's always exceptions to every rule. I just think I don't think he did anything to bolster his numbers to become more of a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So, and you're a Hall of Famer too. I appreciate you. Welcome. And make sure you guys support my great friend Lou, the Enhanced Sports Show, which will be on between 4 and 6 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time Zone. It's a wonderful show. I'm going to call in. You guys make sure you check the Enhanced Sports Show and also subscribe to the channel. But the phone number to call in is 512-543-4662, 512-543-4662. Make sure you talk to wonderful Diane and Lou tomorrow between 4 and 6 p.m. All right. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Oh, you're welcome. You have a lovely night. Thank you so very much for calling in. I really appreciate you. Have a blessed night. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye now. Thank you for calling. Awesome. That's fantastic. So, always a pleasure. Fantastic. And I'm going to give you that baseball player's name that I think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well. That is none other than Shoeless Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe Jackson, I believe, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame too. It is kind of a gray area whether he did or did not, but I do think Shoeless Joe Jackson is a Hall of Famer and he deserves to be in Cooperstown. I like to see him get it. Hey, I believe in redemption. I believe in giving people second chances. And I believe that if you keep someone out of the Hall of Fame long enough, that is a penalty in itself. You understand? That is a penalty. So I believe all in this, they paid the price, put him in the Hall of Fame. Speaking of that, let me go ahead and give you another show supporter who, in my book, is a Hall of Famer too. And hey, you guys work real hard. You need to take a vacation. You need to chill out. Guess what? Pushpin Adventures can help you. That's right. Whether you want to travel internationally, here in the States, you want a destination wedding, you need a group corporate setting where you want to make sure that you and a bunch of people are taken care of for travel in the US or international, call Monique at Pushpin Adventures at 626-838-1006. 626-838-1006. They are fantastic. I mean, Pushpin Adventures can help you with a cruise. This cruise is coming up too. Hey, you don't want to cook for Thanksgiving. You want to take a nice vacation towards the end of the year. Here's a great option. Make sure you check out Pushpin Adventures. And in fact, if you can visit them at pushpinadventures.com, pushpinadventures.com. And if you want more information about this particular cruise you see on the screen, pushpinadventures.com/version definitely is outstanding to deal with Pushpin Adventures. And that is a picture of Monique, and she can help you. So make sure you give them a call. Make sure you support Pushpin Adventures. Again, that phone number is 626-838-1006. 1006. We're going to play the Push Pin Adventure song by none other than Sam Scola Songs. And all the songs that you hear on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk show, you can hear them on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. That's right. All of them are available there. Thank you, songwriter Sam Scola Songs and wife Mary. And without further ado, let me go ahead and play the Pushpin Adventure song. Make sure you guys check them out. Make sure you give them a call, pushpinadventures.com. Let me go ahead and make sure I play that song for you right now on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk show. And we're going to continue on with some great content right after this great song by Pushpin Adventures and wrote by Sam Scola Songs. Thank you so much, Sam Scola. Thank you so much, Pushpin Adventures, pushpinadventures.com. Again, that's pushpinadventures.com. If you want to know about that cruise, pushpinadventures.com/virgin, or call Monique at 626-838-1006, 626-838-1006. Thank you so much, Pushpin Adventure for being a wonderful sponsor here at the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. We tremendously appreciate you. And thank you so much, songwriter Sam Scola Songs and his wife Mary, for that awesome song. You guys are fantastic. Really appreciate you. It is fantastic to deal with you. And definitely don't forget to check out Sam Scola Songs. Are all available on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. I got to add that Facebook and Instagram, as well as if you want to reach out to Sam Scola, sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Fantastic. So we got the big fight coming up this weekend. And this is gonna be something great. You have Usyk and you have my man Fury. I'm gonna talk about that and get into that as well. It's one of those things where I feel as if Fury, he actually seemed like he's a little, I would say, a little scared in this fight. The fact that you wouldn't look Usyk in the eye and do a proper stare down, You didn't want to look him in the eye. To me, that's not a good thing for Fury. I think that's a good thing for Usyk. Why would you not look him in the eye? It's almost like you're trying to intimidate him, but you are making yourself seem like you're more scared and intimidated. You're not confident in yourself to face him and look him in the eye. That was a bit surprising and disappointing too on Fury's part. I know that Fury tries to get the edge, him and his team with the bully stuff, but Usyk is not a guy to intimidate. So just wasting your time and energy. If anything, I would take that as more motivation if I'm Usyk. So that was a poor move on Fury's part. I do think, and I do feel as if Fury did lose quite a bit more weight than I anticipated him to. Fury is actually very athletic for his size. And I think having the extra weight, not overdoing it, but I do think having the extra pounds does help him to lean on Usyk to tire him out a bit. He lost, I felt, a little bit too much weight, where that height is still going to be advantage, but the weight I don't feel as if it's going to be as big of an advantage versus Usyk. So I think this is going to be a lot closer fight than people think. I really do. I would not be surprised if Usyk pulls out the upset, but I just don't see it. I think Fury is going to win the fight. One of the things that does kind of concern me about Usyk is Usyk he doesn't like body punches. That is very clear. He does not like body punches. And I'm not talking about below the belt. I mean, he doesn't like body punches. And I think Fury and his team know that. And I think that they're going to put that as an attack. I do think Fury doesn't mind throwing to the body. He's a very technically sound boxer. So I just feel as if Fury, I have him winning a very close fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk won this fight. But I would be picking Fury to win. Just, but it's going to be a very close win. I definitely do think Usyk is going to do a lot better than most people anticipate. And not only do I think he's going to do a lot better than most people anticipate, I wouldn't be surprised if they fought again after this, because I think it's going to be that close of a fight. I really do. I was really surprised in how Fury handled himself. So I think this is going to be interesting to see. And I do think Fury will do a lot. I'm sorry, Usyk will do a lot better than most people anticipate. Before I thought Fury was going to win this fight pretty convincingly, pretty straightforward. I don't feel that way at all now. I really don't. I really don't. I thought he lost too much weight, and I just think I think Usyk is going to do really well in this fight, and I'm gonna keep you guys up to date on it, and definitely let you know how it goes. But I do have Fury winning a very close fight. And let me just go ahead and make sure I give you guys some other great things. Let me see here. Let me just see here. Yeah, so I did want to give you guys my thoughts on that fight there that happened with George Kambosos Jr. as well as Lomachenko. It's kind of like what I told you guys. I felt as if Lomachenko was going to be, too skilled for George Kambosos. I give George Kambosos a lot of credit for taking the fight, but I just felt as if they were in two different classes. And that's the thing about fighters that you have to understand, that you can be a warrior, you can be a person who loves to keep fighting and don't quit, but you also have to have what's called skills. At the end of the day, when it comes to boxing, skills pay the bills. If you're more skilled than your opponent, 9 times, well, I'll say 8 out of 10 times, because you always have a puncher's chance. But I just felt as if Lomachenko was just going to outskill Kambosos, unless Kambosos got a couple of lucky shots in and hurt him and impressed him. Yes, I think the improbable could happen. But if that didn't happen, which I didn't think was going to be likely with the guy's as great as Lomachenko with his defense, and it didn't happen. And Lomachenko ended up stopping him. He's just on another level. And the crazy thing about it is Lomachenko's 36 years old. 3-4 years ago, I would feel as if I predicted Lomachenko to wipe them out and took George out by TKO in the 8th round. He actually took him out by TKO in the 11th round. That's what I predicted. I predicted it was going to be a stoppage by the 8th round by Lomachenko. Because of his age, I think that's what it was. And the fact that Lomachenko didn't want to press it too hard. It actually went to the 11th round and got stopped in the 11th round. So it just goes to show you that's what I predicted, a TKO. It happened 3 rounds later than I thought. And credit to Kambosos for that. But also, I think, Father Time had to do something with that too. The old Kambosos, I think, would have pressed once he downloaded the information around like the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, would have really pressed George more, but he didn't. And he ended up getting the TKO anyway in the 11th round. But I felt like it was going to end in a TKO. And it was just going to be a combination of hits that were just going to wear George Kambosos out. He was going to get hit by so many angles. And Lomachenko is a great puncher. And if you get hit by so many angles and you can't hit your opponent, it frustrates you, tires you out, makes you more susceptible for that TKO. And I felt like that's what's going to happen. I felt as if George Kambosos was going to get a TKO, and he did. He did against him, I should say. So props to Lomachenko for that win. Big time win. He's a big time boxer. And the only thing that can really slow Lomachenko down is Father Time. But man, what a great performance. That's saying a lot because he dominated a fight, got a TKO, and he did this not in his country. He did this in Australia, which is, a lot of people don't want to take that risk. They don't want to go across to go take that risk because, hey, you go to someone else's country and there's an opportunity that, you may end up losing because you're fighting in someone else's country. And he did it and won the fight. So props. I got to give him a round of applause for that because that's not easy to do, to dominate somebody in another country and to win convincingly with the TKO. Didn't even go to the judges. You got to give greatness credit when you see it. And props to Lomachenko on that win. And I would be remiss if I didn't give my thoughts on, there was a lot of things that happened that fight week. I won't talk about everything, but I will say this much. I will say that I did feel as if Andrew Maloney, who, for those who don't know, because he retired at the end of that night because he felt as if he won the fight and it really wasn't close, that it was a slam dunk and he won this fight. And because of that, he's done with boxing. It's basically what happened. I don't feel that way. I felt as if his opponent did really well in the fight. I actually had him winning too, like the panel did. I agreed with the panel. I felt as if it was a very close fight. I felt the body work. He did phenomenal. I had him winning by 2 points. It was a very close fight. If it did go the other way, I wouldn't have been upset about it. But I did think he won by 2 points, not Maloney, his opponent, just like the panel did. I was in agreement where it was a lot closer fight than I think Andrew Maloney thought. And I really do think, in my opinion, he overreacted. And when he watches the fight with a clear, open mind, he might say, you know what, this is a close fight. And on top of it, if I did have my right hand, I might have actually been able to win the fight, but I didn't. So I might have been able to see the fight, see the punch being available, but I didn't actually, because of injury, didn't pull the trigger. And that could be a reason why you might have thought you won the fight when you actually didn't. I had his opponent winning, and I do think he did overreact. I agree with what the panel said. Having said that, let me make sure that I go ahead and bring on our next caller. Let me just make sure that you guys also can hear the caller too on the StreamYard. So I will bring them on, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be always awesome to talk to our great callers here on the Alford Sports Talk Show. We appreciate you all. I'll bring on the caller in just a moment. I just want to make sure that the sound is queued up here so you guys can hear it on the StreamYard. I know you could definitely hear it on the Blog Talk, but since we're doing something great for you guys, having it available both places, I want to make sure you can hear it both places too. So without further ado, let's bring on our great caller. Hey, how you doing so far tonight? Okay, yep. Oh, great. Great to hear from you. So glad to hear from you. I wasn't sure if, our last caller scared you away or something. I know, right? Yeah. I mean, I agreed with a lot of what you said. I really did. I'm not a big time Jordan fan, meaning I don't like dislike Jordan or anything, but I'm not, I don't have a jersey signed by him. I don't have any memorabilia by him. I respect his game. I think he is definitely one of the greatest players to play this game. And yes, he's always going to be compared with LeBron, but I don't put LeBron in his category. What are your thoughts? I am that way too. Like if somebody thinks it's LeBron is the GOAT, I'm not gonna get upset about it. If someone thinks Jordan's a GOAT, I'm not gonna get he's right. It's just a conversation, it's opinion. I agree with you. I do think LeBron over the last 3 to 5 years, especially with some of the records that he's broke, has definitely gotten the gap a lot closer. Yes, he doesn't have as many rings as Jordan, but I think the fact that he has all these records, I know that he played a lot longer than Jordan. He's made his case a lot stronger. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, I definitely think it's very respectable with LeBron, and it's you know what you got to give LeBron his props. Whether you're a whether you're a Jordan fan, you got to admire what he's done. Like you said, sustained greatness. And you're right. A lot of players they'll reach a peak, and that decline is pretty steep. You start to see, hey, this is not the same player, even in the same ballpark of the player we used to see. And you're right, it hasn't been that deep, steep decline for him. Sustained greatness. He balls out. Has there been some things about LeBron that I'm not a fan of? Yes. But overall, man, like you said, I know a lot of people that could have been in his shoes and could have messed up a whole lot more than him, with scandals, like you said, getting involved in stuff they shouldn't be. He's a family man. there's a lot to say that's positive about LeBron, and you're right. And I think he's done a wonderful, wonderful job. I really do. I do think I agree with you though. Like on a competitive standpoint, I would still put a slight tick above Jordan. I do think the tick is not as big as it used to be between the two of them over the last, years because of all the records. And if I and in all fairness, go ahead. Oh no, that's all right. I in all fairness, if LeBron were to get another ring somehow, some way, I would put him above Jordan at this point. I really would. If he were to get another ring, let's say next year, no matter whether he joined another team, whether he played for the Lakers, even if he joined a super team, if he got another ring, I would put him above Jordan. That's just me. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and that's the thing. Nobody's safe, even Shaq, because Shaq even said it himself that he felt as if he could have done a lot more during his playing days. I mean, he still was the man, but he felt like, the eating, the weight, you know what I mean? Things that he did control, he didn't do the best with it. You know what I'm saying? He still was the man, but he could have done another tick or two better. You know what I'm saying? The nutrition, the eating, the weight, him and Kobe, the late great Kobe. And some of that is Kobe's fault too. Don't get me wrong, may he rest in peace. But yeah, I agree with you. Exactly. You need, and that's what makes Kareem so special that he said, basically he saw the greatness in the other guy. I have to keep him on my side, so to speak. I think you're right. I think there was that aspect that was missing with Kobe and a maturity thing too. I think as Kobe got older, he matured, but I think when they were doing their thing, there was still some immaturity. May he rest in peace, and he's the man. But I think Kobe was still a little immature at that point. Yep, George Cambosa Jr. Yep. No, I totally agree with you. I actually do. I think George Kambosos Jr., regardless of what you think about him or not, the guy's a warrior. And the guy did maximize the talent that he did and market himself like crazy. Because you're right. He got 2 fights out of Devin Haney in Australia, which is not easy to do. But he got the fight for him, for the belt, which he lost. And then he got a rematch, which he lost again. I do think George Kambosos Jr. does have some skills. Where I think he lacks a lot is the defense and ring generalship and feet work. You understand? Like if he had a better trainer that can teach him those things, I think he'd be a lot better. But yes, I did think Lomachenko was going to, because Lomachenko's special. You understand? You can't really knock George Kambosos so much because he did take the fight. He gave it a try. Lomachenko is just special. The way he uses angles, the way he uses feet work. I knew Lomachenko was going to outclass George Kambosos. And, in boxing, anything could happen, of course. But I did think I really predicted a TKO in the 8th round by George Kambosos. I apologize, by Lomachenko. I thought Lomachenko was going to TKO him by the 8th round. That's what I predicted. He took him out in the 11th round. So I got to give George Kambosos credit. He kept trying to fight. He didn't quit. And I know it had to been frustrating getting hit by 2-3 punches in a row and you can't see him. That's got to be frustrating like heck, and it just keep repeating itself. But he didn't quit. His towel, his corner right as that TKO happened, his corner threw in the towel. So you're right. Sometimes you got to give people credit. They don't have the skills pay the bills that someone else might have, but at least they gave it a try and they didn't quit, and he maximized a lot of checks. Devin Haney, I thought he actually looked better against Devin Haney than he did Lomachenko. Let me tell you why. Because that's where I think Devin Haney, to me, got exposed, was in that Kambosos fight. Because when they fought both times, I didn't think Devin Haney's defense was that great. You can't just bear hug someone and smolder them every single time they throw punches. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, if you're hurt, yes, if you got wobbly legs, you're supposed to hold and bear hug your opponent. You know what I mean? That's smart. But you can't do that all day, all fight long. Exactly. That's one thing I got to give George Kambosos a lot of credit on. To me, those 2 times he fought Devin Haney exposed Devin Haney to me, because prior to that, I thought Devin Haney was very good. But I was watching those 2 fights. I'm like, man, Devin Haney, you keep holding. You can't, like you said, he's not slick enough where the guy could throw punches and you move out the way. You can't resort to just bear hugging someone all fight night long. And George Kambosos, he exposed that to me with Devin Haney. Yes, Devin Haney lost both fights, and the right person did win, which is Devin Haney. But I said, you know what? If I was fighting against Devin Haney, I would use that to my advantage. And guess what? Ryan Garcia and his team noticed it too. And Devin Haney wasn't able to hold all night long. So Ryan Garcia got some good licks in. You know what I mean? Like, they did say when they did do the fight analysis, like the end result was that Ryan Garcia did not fail. You know what I mean? I think, look, if you're fighting someone who's 3 pounds overweight, and I get it, you don't want to reschedule that so much, those so close to your check. You understand? You don't want to reschedule. I get it, because your check is in balance if you don't fight this person, right? I get that. But if you agree to fight someone who's 3 pounds overweight and you don't lose your belt if you lose, then you get what you get. You understand what I'm saying? You agree to it. You agree to it. Like, okay. And do I buy the steroids thing? I actually don't. I don't, because when they redid the test again, they didn't find that he failed the test. Number one. And number two, the shots that Ryan Garcia was hitting Devin Haney with was clean shots. You see it? Like, George Kambosos exposed something. He was hitting it with clean shots all night. And yes, he got knocked down 3 times, but you and I watched that fight. As much as I like Devin Haney, he got knocked down 5 times. At least 4. Like, okay, I honestly think, as much as I respect the referee, Harvey Dock, I really do like him as a referee. I think he mortgaged his whole house and his kids' college fund on that fight. I do. As much as I loved, Harvey Dock is an exceptional referee. Like, you were hooking this guy up. You were hooking this guy up. Like, okay, maybe you missed the first one. I'll give you that. But come on, the guy had jelly legs and he's holding on, bear hugging him like he would have fallen on his face if he didn't hold him like crazy. And you just nope, slip down. Like, come on, man. And he gave Devin Haney, I felt, never took a point, nothing. All that holding. It's almost like, as much as I don't like to believe any conspiracy theories, Ryan Garcia got a point. He had to fight 2 guys in the ring, Harvey Dock and Devin Haney. He had to whip both of them, because as much as I love Harvey Dock, I do. I think he's an exceptional referee. He was extremely biased in his fight. Like, come on. And I like Devin Haney too. I'm like, come on, man. You're making it obvious. Exactly. You know what? As much crap as Ryan Garcia talks, and a lot of times he disappoints me with the stuff he does, he was pure genius in this fight. The promotion coming in, and because of the fact that he came in kind of light against, I think, not to knock Javante, but I do think if the weight was a little bit heavier, I think Ryan Garcia beats Javante. You know what I mean? I do. I just think that I do think the weight drain thing did have an effect on Ryan Garcia. I more so than it did on Javante. And I feel as if, he had a game plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna come in a little heavy because, like you said, I'm gonna be more my natural strength. You know how it is when you weight drain yourself, you feel weak. You know what I mean? You don't feel like yourself. I feel as if the way he came in, he felt more comfortable with himself. Like you said, I know that nobody wanted to cancel this fight because they both wanted to get paid. And I respect that. But if you do agree to that, regardless of the drug thing or whatever, if you lose, you lose. Like, that's what it is. You agree to it. You can't have the money. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Ryan Garcia, Ryan Garcia hit him with some clean shots. Right. And that's the thing. That's why I'm gonna give Ryan Garcia that win, because you're right. Devin Haney didn't throw enough jabs. Basically, Ryan Garcia said, you know what? I'm gonna walk straight to you. I don't feel your power, and I'm just gonna just wait for my left hand, my fast hands to get you, and then it's going to be over. And believe it or not, the first round to me set the tone of the whole fight. Ryan Garcia hit him with some really great shots in the first round, which he didn't knock him down, but Devin Haney didn't recover for that fight from those shots in the first round. He set the tone. And then it just went worse and worse. Yes, Devin Haney won the next 2, 3, 4 rounds because Ryan Garcia is not a volume puncher. But man, if you watch those knockdowns, there was clean punches. And you see right there, when he hit him. Devin Haney's hands were to his sides almost every knockdown. You know what? Exactly. And to me, that's why I give George Kambosos credit. He revealed to me that Devin Haney's defense isn't as elite or great as it should be. You can't hold somebody the whole night. And yeah, yeah. And to me, as much as I like Devin Haney and I respect him, to me, I'm putting this in the L category. I'm sorry. That guy, I'm not going to take away Ryan Garcia's win. I think Ryan Garcia came in there with a smart game plan and he executed. Usually Ryan Garcia is all talk, but it happened where he was not all talk. And credit to Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has some fast hands. If you watch some of his boxing tapes, his hands are fast, man. I mean, if you get hit by those punches, it's gonna hurt. And obviously, Devin Haney showed in the first round. And I got to give him credit. Like, he knew he couldn't take that left hand, and Ryan Garcia didn't do anything different. I got to give Ryan Garcia credit. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna come in here, do what I got to do, and beat this guy." But I do think Ryan Garcia. You said it beautifully. So I think Devin Haney's dad and even Devin Haney wasting energy to try to overthrow this fight. You're right. It's not going to erase what people witnessed and saw that night. To me, the better man won that night. And not only did the better man win that night, he kind of washed you that night, and the ref was on your side the whole night. You know what I mean? The ref gave you every opportunity that he could. In fact, I think he should have just asked him right there in the ring. Yo, can you sign these gloves? Can you sign some autographs? He should have just asked them because it was very obvious. And I'm a Devin Haney fan. Exactly. The guys who are very intelligent is a guy who's actually playing the game. They know, like, okay, usually the refs don't give them this, but now they are allowing it. So you know what? I'm gonna do me. You got to make adjustments to the ref. And the ref was pro Haney. It was very obvious. I think it's because his dad, I don't know what it was, but he was hooking him up. He was giving him every opportunity, and Ryan Garcia still won the fight. That's the crazy thing about it. You know, I agree. I don't. And what Devin Haney should do is prepare and train real hard. And I think he should rematch Ryan Garcia because if he does rematch him and does beat him, I think his credibility goes back up. But if you come in, rematch him, and you lose pretty badly again, then it goes the other way. But I do think Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney should fight again, like a rematch. I would love to see a rematch. I would. I really would. I know that I wouldn't say that on a victory that's kind of lopsided, but I do think because of the fact that he did come in 3 pounds overweight, he didn't lose his belt. I think Devin Haney has earned the right to get a rematch. I will give him that. Like I would love to see a rematch and see what happens. But I think unless Devin Haney changed things up a lot, yeah, I think Ryan Garcia, if unless Devin Haney changes a lot, I think if Ryan Garcia comes in focus, I think he'll beat him again. I really do. I really do. I really do because no, I was gonna say because he's not gonna have Harvey Doc helping him out. I think the advantage is Ryan Garcia all the way. Oh yeah. I think, and you know what? I give credit to both men because this fight is actually not going to be on pay per view. Believe it or not, it's going to be on Netflix. If you are subscribed to Netflix, you're going to be able to watch this fight for free. That's the crazy thing about it. It's not a pay per view fight. Yep, I'm glad I said that to the fans who are listening. It is not a pay per view fight. It is if you have Netflix, you get to watch this fight for free, which is really cool on both guys' side. They're both going to get paid, of course. They're both going to get paid handsomely, but it's not going to be pay-per-view fight. And I think that's really cool of both men. I do think it's going to be a fight. Hey, you get to see a free fight if you have Netflix. It's going to be entertaining. I do think both men have something to prove. Like I think Mike Tyson wants to keep his rep intact, so he's got to do pretty good. And I think Jake Paul wants to keep his winning streak because I know he did lose the one fight, but Jake Paul, in order for him to continue to sell fights, he's got to have that bad guy rep with him with the wins. You understand? He's got to have that, and plus, Mike Tyson is a big name. The credibility. This is a pro boxer. You know. Oh yeah, it's gonna sell. It's gonna be very, very popular fight. It's gonna be. It's gonna to me. It's gonna be the biggest event throughout this year. Yeah. It is, and props to both of them for doing it because you know what? It takes two guys to fight. I can give him credit for agreeing to the fight, both men. I'm glad I told you that too. Yeah, that's legit, man. It's free fight as long as you have Netflix. Hey, it's gonna be one of the biggest entertaining fights No, you can't. You're absolutely right about that. Who do you got winning? Because of the age, or you just think because of the training, he just gonna look at it like, hey, it's a payday for me. Yeah, I think Mike Tyson, if he's gonna get Jake, he's gonna have to get him within the first 4 rounds somehow, some way. Which I think Mike could do it. I That's the thing is, I think Mike could catch him, but I do think the person who needs to win the fight more is definitely Jake Paul. That's his brand. He's got the credibility. He's got a big name. Regardless of what people think, if you beat Mike Tyson, your credibility goes to the roof. You understand? I know he's in his 50s, but you still beat a pro boxer who definitely has the biggest name, and his reputation precedes him, Mike Tyson. Even if it's a situation where, let's say, Jake Paul wins on a decision because Mike got tired, I still think at the end of the day, if Jake Paul wins, his stock goes way high. It does. It does. And you got to give Jake Paul credit, man. I mean, you got to give him credit because there's a lot of pro boxers that don't make the money and have the following he has. They just don't, and they've got more skills than him. But this guy knows how to market himself. He knows how to promote himself. You got to give him credit, man. You know, you got to give the man credit. Yeah, you do. Oh man, I appreciate it big time. Always. I appreciate you. I really do. Okay, I appreciate you, man, tremendously. I really do. Always a pleasure. You're always welcome. You do the same. Likewise. Thank you so much for calling in. God bless you. Thank you. Take it easy now. Bye now. Always awesome to hear from our wonderful callers here on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. It's really blessing, really wonderful, and guys are always welcome here. That's fantastic. And you know what? You guys are always welcome anytime you want. Appreciate you guys for your support here on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. Definitely don't take it lightly. And in fact, on that note, we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to go ahead and thank all of our callers. Want to thank you guys for watching. Want to thank our wonderful sponsors, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, Push Pin Adventures, and CTC Emmy Mortgage. You guys are wonderful. Thank you, all your listeners. Thank you so much, Luke Adams, for chiming in, that you were watching and listening. That's my guy. And that is fantastic that he came in. He does great work again for the UFL, the UFL Arlington Renegades. It's always great. And, it's always positive that you have fans that cover the league and they see that you're helping out the UFL. And that's a real blessing. The UFL is fantastic. I just wish that more people kind of followed along, but there's a lot of great things to see in the UFL. A lot of great talent, a lot of great games this weekend. Check out the Arlington Renegades against the Brahmas. You also have the Battlehawks playing. It's uncertain if AJ McCarron's going to play because of the ankle, but we will see. I'll keep you guys posted. And let me go ahead and end the show with thanking one of our sponsors here, and that is Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Feel free to visit my great friend Chef G's anytime you want at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. And if you can't come down to Tampa, that's all right. You can go ahead and see him at flbbqsauce.com. And it's flbbqsauce.com. Pick up any one of the 4 great flavors: Fusion, Honey Mustard, Heat Wave, and Original. There you go. Classic, should say classic. So that is all 4 great flavors. He has some rub. He has some Florida stand for you. Check them all out. And it's going to be a great time for you to be great grilling. It's getting hot outside. I feel humidity here in Florida already. So you know it's going to be hot. Get yourself some great barbecue. I want to thank also our great songwriter, Sam Scola Songs, and his beautiful wife, Mary, for all the support. And speaking on that, guys, stop messing with my guy, Sam Scola Songs. Stop copying his profile and trying to act like him. There's only one Sam Scola Songs. And if you want to reach him, you can reach him directly right here at singalongwithsam@gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. I want to thank Sam Scola for all his support and all his songs. Every single song that we have is sang by Sam Scola Songs. You can go ahead and watch Sam Scola Songs. You listen to them anytime. All the whole catalog right there: YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. And let's go ahead and play the Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song by Sam Scola himself. So let me play that song for you guys right now.
Captain for variety, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, natural flavor, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Florida honey mustard, burgers and red, hey,
Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting. You may need a support group. Make sure you don't forget to visit Chef G's right there at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Again, it's 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. flbbqsauce.com. Then it's flbbqsauce.com. Always a pleasure to deal with Sam Scola and Chef G's. So without further ado, we're going to close the show with playing one last Sam Scola song. That's the end of the show. And want to thank you guys to keep in tune right there at Instagram, Alan Alford, Twitter, Alan Alford, and Facebook, Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. And please don't forget to subscribe at Alan Alford. Just type in ALAN, ALFORD. You'll be able to find me. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You have a fantastic weekend. This week, I got something real special planned for you. I don't want to spoil a surprise. You'll find out next Friday. But In the meantime, be blessed, be well, have a great weekend, be safe and sound, and be kind to someone. You never know where it might repay itself down the road. Take care for now. We're going to end the show with none other than the end of the show song by Sam Scola. Appreciate you, Sam Scola. And you guys too. I appreciate you all. Have a blessed night, blessed weekend. Until we meet again, take care for now.